going on, but we just kind of out here is good, man. It ain't bad, man. It ain't bad. Like everywhere else, have its challenges, but when you stepping out here, so like I say, especially in the summertime, you can enjoy the ride, man. And, you're at peace, But welcome to Street Recovery. I'm your host, Crenshaw. My man, Mr. Mario.
What's up?
SBO, Come on, talk up to the mic or pull it to you. Don't be scared of it.
No,
come on.
For sure. I was letting you get yours off first. SBO is just solid business only. You know what I'm saying? That's what it represents. And it's a characteristic trait that everybody doesn't have. And I feel like everybody around me is what I want them to have. You know what I'm saying? To be solid and stand firm on what they believe in and who they are and stand true to themselves. And the business aspect is I take that into the business as well. I'm not going to do nothing finicky or funny to you. I'm going to always stand firm on and true to my word. And I feel like that's,
A lot of us these days are trying to get some things going on, and get to that level. I don't know what COVID did, but a lot of us are trying to make something happen, more than ever now. You having a solid business only. Let's go here. Starting off, your past. Elaborate on your past, how you came up.
Man, back and forth between Cleveland and Los Angeles, and I tell this to all my friends and family, everybody hear about that. Just to real quick to touch on COVID, because you did say that, and I feel like I think COVID bred a lot of it bred a lot of entrepreneurship because people was out of work, and people started to have to make things happen. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's just to touch on that. And then just doubling back to my past, I think that I had a lack of stability growing up. My mom's being with who she was with, and then getting a divorce, and my side of the family being in LA. So when I was 2 years old, I was born in Cleveland. When I was 2, I went to LA for the first time. My granny took me on the train out there. You know what I'm saying? And ever since then, for the most part, I've always been Cleveland to LA, whether it was every other year, every other 2 years, every other 6 months. And, I think that I had to learn how to have stability in my mind. So that way, wherever I went, at least my soul and my spirit and my mind was always stable and grounded wherever I was at, and staying true to who I am. You know what I'm saying? So that's why the solid business only was so meaningful to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is to let people know, just to stand firm and stay down on who you is.
Let's touch on that. Cleveland to LA. You leave the hard Midwest. You go out to Gangbang Central. Pause. Gangbanger capital of the world. Mm-hmm. Growing up in that, a lot of people don't get to see that outside of that community, How was that coming up, seeing some of those things, hearing some of those things?
Well, you know what, man? I didn't really notice it until I was about 11 years old. And I had went, like I said, back and forth. So I'm in Cleveland about 9, 10. And then, my mom gets this divorce, and now I moved to like Ontario, California.
Yeah.
And then I'm in Ontario, and it's boring out there. So I'm going to visit my family in LA in South Central.
Yeah.
And you know how you is when you 11, the hood is fun.
Yeah.
So I'm going down to South Central, and I'm visiting the hood, and we shooting dice over here. You know what I'm saying? Like this, I'm having a ball with my cousins. So we move over there and not really understanding the realities of it. And then we go down there, and then I think it was just I started to learn and respect the culture. You know what I'm saying? And you respect the upbringing, and there's a certain it builds character.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? The streets build character.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it taught me how to hustle because at the time it was me and my mom. Then my sister was out there with us for a minute, but at one point it was just me and my mom in South Central, and I think that's when I really started to understand that this street right here, and then right here in this alley, that's your enemy.
Yeah.
So you can't walk to that corner store because it crosses that alley. If you walk to that corner store, you got to be strapped, and it's really a war zone.
Well, you know, you moving back here, was it like relief where you had your freedom? You don't have to worry, you know, where you want to go is where you want to go. You don't have to worry about, I can't go here, I can't go there. Well, what was that like, that transition from coming from out there to back here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, it is like that, but because I came up still going, when I would come out here, it would give me peace, but I would still go back to LA. And I ended up in places like Pasadena, California.
Dina. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Dina, you know what I'm saying? Where the grass is greener, they say. You know? And I would go out there. So I started to develop, it became second nature to me, you know, to know do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Then it becomes a part of who you are. You know, it's so I'm not, so I would come back to Cleveland, I would have peace, but when I can be in California, and I know how to have peace in California too.
That's very rare right there, you know, being able to navigate those LA streets and have peace out there. You know, that's pretty rare, right?
Yeah, for sure.
How did you manage that, you know?
You know what, man? Being who I was, man. Staying true to myself. You know, I'm not the toughest guy alive, and I never tried to be. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I never tried to be. You know, I just that's all I can say. I just was who I was. So I'm not. I like to shoot my dice. I like to make my money. I like my women, and I'm not. But I'm not no punk. You know, so I catch a fade. And as long as
that's just man shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So once they know you will catch a fade and they understand who you are, and then it's like, you know, okay, that's who he is. And I was from Cleveland.
Yeah.
And to all honesty, you know, to tell the truth, and that's why my stage name is RioFrmTheLand, because when I'm in Cleveland, I ain't gotta say I'm from the land.
Yeah.
But you know, in LA, it's question number one is where you from?
Where you from?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wanted to eliminate that question. Because when I'm in LA enjoying my family, I'm enjoying my friends, and I got family members that might be from different places from my other family members, but I'm not going to nobody hood day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to nobody hood day, and ain't no disrespect to y'all hood day, but I'm not from y'all hood. You feel me? But I'm going to. But I'll meet you at Granny house. I'll meet you at Uncle house for the family functions, and I love you, and I'm gonna give you a hug, and I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna love you, and hope you being safe out here. You feel me? So I think what it was is just being a genuine person. You know what I mean?
You know, those kind of characteristics, you know, you could go anywhere in the world with that kind of stuff, you know. A lot of men will respect it and understand, okay, homie he ain't about that. All right, homie, we all good, you know. Now, there are some that's coming up, a lot of our youngsters. You what, 26, 27?
Yeah, something like that, little somewhere around there, a little north of that.
A lot of the younger homies don't understand that. You know, you were I'm gonna say brought up with a different type of breed. Your OGs and and it shows. You know, just off of that conversation right there. You know, I was listening to a podcast the other day. One of the brothers from Houston. And he was stating that we're going to switch it to music.
Let's do it.
He was stating a lot of the youngsters, they're on demon time. They're on demon time because of the madness that they've been going through, and they don't care. And it shows in the music that they're making. The situation that happened was an innocent bystander, someone he knew, got killed by, you know, one of the younger folks. And I had the conversation with this person the other day. It's more and more of this the last 3, 4, 4 or 5 years. Innocent people getting caught up on somebody else's drama. And a lot of it relates back to the music. You made a track and you sent it to me. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, y'all still got something here. Not a lot of negatives, you know. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I say, okay, well, why is this rare? What the hell is going on where very limited positive music is being pushed out here? What the hell is going on?
Man, it's the demon time thing for sure. And it's the fact that the reality is, man, is that we can relate to that stuff that they saying. You know what I'm saying? So people, when those guys are talking about they had to spin on a nigga block, or they saying that they had to, you know, they had to switch their whips, or they saying the ways that they had to move and maneuver when it's wartime, you know, we can relate to that. You know, people can relate to that. You know, so that's what it is. But I think that what you have to do is you have to let them know that, you know, this is not, there's a way out of this. You know, there's a way, and not only there's a way out, but there's some negatives that come with it that you won't be able to escape ever, no matter how far you go in life. You know, some things that you got to sleep with and you got to live with every night. You know what I'm saying? So I think that as long as the music has to be telling the truth.
Yes.
So don't try and glorify that. Don't demon time ain't really cool, man. You know what I'm saying? It's not. I mean, I'm saying that because, like, you know, you sitting in a cell doing 25 years ain't cool. I know killers that cried when they got that time.
I looked at some YouTube stuff and those court cases popped up where, you know, I seen that. A lot of them OGs, young killers, they cried when they got those 30, 40 years. Mm-hmm. The music, we're gonna stay here for a minute. Mm-hmm. Artists like Rhapsody, she's out of female artist, Positive, out of North Carolina. Dope MC. Mm-hmm. Dope. She don't get the publicity as Sexy Red and all those others. And it kind of bothers me, like, why? You know, but I'm at this level. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. But I got an idea why. Okay, they don't want to show positive black female images, positive images, period, you know, in this music industry. And it's taking a turn for the worse, I think, you know. I still listen to a lot of it, you know, because I want to support the young brothers because they could be out here doing worse, not judging or anything like that. But you pushing the positivity music, you know, and getting ready to take it to another level. What's the beginning stages of this like for you?
So I've been around the industry for over a decade. Mm-hmm. You know, I have family members that have, you know, had record deals and, you know, signed, and I've been in the mix. I've been around people that you would never know. I pull up on them and they know my face card when they see me. You know what I'm saying? So I think that it's like I'm still grinding because I never really wanted no handouts. I never really wanted to push somebody else's agenda if I didn't feel like it was right for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those guys, you know, just because, like you said, of my upbringing and my family and the people that's going to call me and say, man, why you on TV in a dress? Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, and that's
you don't want that.
Yeah, and that's and if you're doing that, I'm not mad at you. You feel me? Yeah. Like, that's what you do. You know, I'm not hating on you or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, for me, and that's why I say it's about being who you are, being true to yourself, and I think that's what has kept me from that's why I had to start my own thing. Yeah. Prime example. You know, and my thing is, you see the bricks behind the SBO because I built it brick by brick. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So, yeah, man. And then just as far as the whole thing with the women and, you know, and then like the music being different, like, you know what I'm saying, Sexy Reds and things like that. You know, shout out to Sexy Red. She right. Thing. That's who she is.
Yeah, that's who she is. Yeah.
And I ain't mad at that.
Right.
You know, I just feel like, you know, we have to try and have more control. We have to try and have more control.
How do we get more control of this?
Things like not settling. not being in it just for the money. You know, I believe in hustling. I came up around hustlers. My upbringing is from hustling.
Yeah.
You know, my family members, you know, hustlers. So I feel like I'm always gonna hustle it, but just make sure that if you hustling, you gotta have integrity.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about.
Some don't have that integrity. Some just they're just blank. They don't have any of it, and they just go and do without thinking. You know, and that's the sad part. You know, in this music game, a lot of street shit you see. It comes with the territory. How much of this street shit in this music game that takes you back to when you was in the hood, and you know, you mentally you say, damn, there's no escaping this shit.
You know what? I was blessed to have like a mom and then my dad that raised me. You know, my biological dad.
Yes.
You know, but my mom and the man that raised me, they always tried to pull me out of the flame. So when I see things, I always feel blessed that I didn't have to stay in it as long as I did. And then when I see the guys that rise above and make it out and pushing the positive, but still saying, this is where I'm from, this is what I did, but this is who I am today, I respect it and I salute and I tip my hat to that, because I know what you had to do to get out of your situation.
Correct.
I mean, because I've been there, but you stayed longer than me because maybe you didn't have a mom, or maybe you didn't have a dad, or maybe your family just was gonna stay where they was at, and that's cool because y'all was stable, and that's what y'all did, and they just made you come up out of it, and that's cool, and I respect how you did it.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's just, you know what I'm saying.
You know, a lot of us black males in the city, we experience this. You know, we jump off the porch, and some of us don't have to, some of us got to. But when we attempt to go out there and do these things, some of us wake up real quick. Okay, I can't do this shit. This ain't for me. I don't want to become that person, because if I become that person, it's over for everybody. You know, my brothers and I, we were always intelligent people, because our dad, he knew a lot of people. He knew a lot of the mobsters, street dudes. But my dad was a straightforward guy. He always used to tell us these stories of what's happening and what's going down or whatever. So we always kind of thought on that level early. You know, we're talking about 10, 9 years old.
Yeah.
So about time our life took a turn, we were thinking way more advanced than a lot of our friends were. And some of those things, you know, took a hell of a turn. For me, I don't want to become that person. If I become that person, it's over, because I know what my brothers are going to do. So by the time I got out of high school, I left shit alone. My brothers, they kept going, doing the things necessary that they wanted to do. It was an addiction. It was addiction to the money and the hustle, because of the things that they knew. They you know, stayed away from other people like our friends we grew up with, because they didn't want to do anything to our friends we grew up with. So they separated these things. A lot of us, we don't know how to separate family and those type of business things. And it goes real left.
For sure.
You being out there in LA shooting dice, a lot of street shit you see in these dice games. Dice games are some of the deadliest experiences you could have in the streets. What was that one thing that kind of?
You know what? You asking like, was it a thing that kind of like that made me say I'm cool?
Yeah,
On the streets?
yeah.
You know what? I didn't see no extreme measures in the dice game. I had an OG play with me one time. I was in the hood, and this was when I was actually in Pasadena, and I was somewhere with one of my partners, and we was shooting dice, and I was a youngin' still, and I took a couple hundred from probably like $500 or something like that. But when you 13 years old, that's everything.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And the OG came out, and he had his shotgun, and he pulled his shotgun out of me and my homie. He said, "Hey, y'all little niggas better get my money back." And we was looking, and he was like, "Nah, I'm just playing with y'all, right?" So he went and he took me outside, and then he tried to scare straight play with me, but he took me outside. He gave me some game instead, and he was like, "You know what? Take that money, break it down, and feed your dogs, feed your wolves, or else they eat you." You feel me? That's how he broke it down.
Why do you think he gave you that game? Because it's these small gems that these super OGs give you that we ignore. Why do you think he came out and gave you that?
Man, I don't know. I guess he liked me, or maybe he thought, maybe he seen something in me, thought I was cool or whatever. Because I was just being myself, and I think he probably was trying to save me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just because I was over there, he probably seen the way I move, he see me around, and I don't know. I couldn't really tell you why he gave it to me.
A lot of us have those kind of situations where these stone cold killer guys come up and drop these gems. Me personally, I think when they do that, they're blessings to save us and wake us up. So many of us ignore those gems that's given to us. I was listening to a guy yesterday. I listen to a lot of podcasts. So he wasn't a street guy. He was at the playground with a lot of the rolling 60s. Rolling 60s, playing ball, and took his game, that he called next. One of the super OGs of rolling 60s say, "Look, man, don't ever back down when something is yours. You got game next. You say you got game next. I don't give a damn who it is." The brother said from that day on, having that game from the super OG, he went on to life and kept that, and within him, and went on a straight and narrow path.
For sure.
Because he said, "Hell, I wasn't about to be up here fighting a court full of rolling 60s." He said, so he stayed quiet and stayed back and got the next game. And when these OGs see things in us, and they have their time where they're on another level, but then they have their time when they coming over and having that solid conversation with us. That's what's missing, I think,
for sure,
these days coming up. So I was long-winded on that, but when you told that story,
No, it's all good because, two things. One, I feel like that's what the music is about. I feel like, if you heard the one track I sent to you, outro,
yes.
I feel like that's just one of the many, but I feel like, I'm going to talk some stuff sometimes and some songs,
yes.
but I'm always going to give you some game.
Well, you got to tell your story.
For sure. And most of the game I give is going to be from an old head. It's going to be from somebody that did 25, did 10, or ain't do none, but I'm giving you something that I believe in. You know what I'm saying? So even though I might not be the super OG, but maybe I'm just a messenger. You know what I'm saying? In the situation. And just the other thing I want to say, just doubling back real quick on what you were saying about, me just not wanting to mess with the streets. It just was never who I was. In my upbringing, like I said, I've always been around street guys. And the street guy that actually gave me some gems, was around me and raised me, was just like, what happens to street guys? They die or go to jail. And then when I actually end up locking in with my biological dad, over a decade ago, he said, you know what I'm saying? He giving me these gems too. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it just was never in my DNA. You know what I'm saying? So it just I'm not saying it wasn't in my DNA to be a street guy, because people's but it wasn't who I am. Because it's in my DNA. That don't mean it's who I am.
It's who you
but
are.
The characteristics, there's a positive characteristics, traits that the streets will breed. And I feel like those are the things that I embodied. And those are the things that I do my best to embody. You know what I'm saying? The positive characteristics.
Yes. A lot of us, we don't pick up on these things, For you to pick up on them, you recognize early, just as I did. I recognized early, I'm not about to become this guy, because if I do, it's over.
Die or go to jail, end up being end up doing something to other people, probably hurting somebody maybe you love, maybe you know what I'm saying? It just gets real treacherous. It gets real deep and dark.
And it gets that way. You know, we hear these stories over and over again, you know, and it's one of those things with us, man, where 40, 50, let's just say 60 years of this, starting back in the 60s, over and over, it's the same story. Sell, go to jail, kill, die. Sell, go to jail, kill, die. Over and over, it's a repeated process. When does it stop? When, you know, I ask my guests this all the time. You intelligent young brother. Is this street shit the greatest genocide ever on the planet?
Man, you asking me, I'm gonna say yeah. And I'm just saying yeah because of how long it lasted, man. It's still lasting as we speak right now. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If we go check the Cleveland Remembrance page, it probably just happened this morning, God forbid. You feel me? But it's for sure, man. And then it's systematic. You know what I'm saying? The way everything is presented to us and the positions we put in and stuff they feed us. So,
you know, over in Africa, we see them going through things. Back in the day, the blood diamonds, you know, committing these kind of genocide with each other over there. Nothing like what's going on over here. And like I said, it's a repeated process. It's, damn, am I going to wake up out this nightmare? Mm-hmm. Our kids coming up.
What you saying, is it worse or worse over there or worse over here?
Well, it can't be. We can't say, we can't compare them.
Right.
You know, we're not going to compare them because both of them are, you know, different, you know, but they're the same thing because systematic, as you said, they're getting fed guns and ammo for the diamonds and, you know, all that kind of stuff to clear the fields or whatever the hell it is. Mm-hmm. We're over here getting fed coke, bud, throw it out in the streets, create a real fucking horror. Mm-hmm. Our how can I say it? Our elders back in the 60s, they seen this, and they I don't know what was their thought when they first seen this, and they start to see it in the movies. From back in the 70s, 60s, late 60s, early 70s, all the way up to now. What was one of the? Let's get to this. What was one of the first street movies that you witnessed?
Man, first street movie I witnessed, it had to be Boys in the Hood or Belly. Mm-hmm. And then I think that, and I couldn't tell you the time frame on which one was made first, but I know once I started watching them, I didn't stop. So I started watching like a lot of mobster movies too. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because my uncles and everything, they was they was locked in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Tapping me in with that, and then just the organization of the mob. You know, so we started to get organized, and my family was trying to coach me on not being a street guy, but just taking the organizational skills.
That's what I wanted to touch.
Some of the principles that they had, and we try to pick. We take the good seeds. You feel me? So
that's what I wanted to touch. Seeing the street movie, and then seeing the mobster movie. The street movie first. What kind of effect did that have on you? What kind of feeling did that breed?
Well, I had lost the older brother, from my pops that raised me, his oldest son when I was young. And I was like 9, probably 8 when I heard about it. So I think what it did was it struck a nerve when you watching certain movies, Boys in the Hood. You see Ricky get shot on his way to lead the hood, and it made me sad. You know what I'm saying? It just made me sad because it's not something that it's a reality. The movies are not made, reality is not made for the movies. The movies are made from reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that when I started watching movies, and then I watched movies like Belly, and I think I was infatuated with the money. But I always noticed that it's always somebody getting killed. And most of the time, the biggest drug dealer in it ends up at the end, he ended up dying. You know, if you watch Scarface, he ended up getting killed.
Yep.
And you can always think that you gonna do it better than the next man, or you gonna change up the game. But to get you ain't got enough power. No matter how much power you think you got, that game is gonna be what it is. You know what I'm saying? And this ain't no knock to anybody in the streets that's doing their thing, because I want the best for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Out of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Out of life in general, I want the best for everybody, and I'm not wishing bad on nobody.
Correct.
But I'm saying from what I've observed, every single movie, no matter which generation it's made in,
same result.
it's gonna be the same
outcome.
thing. You know what I'm saying?
Switching to the mob movie, what did you see that was so different? Hood movie, mob movie.
Organization, principles. I believe they say, they had a thing that resonated with me, was just like, one man, you don't sleep with another man's wife in a mob.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's bad for business. You know what I'm saying? Now you just slept with his wife, and now y'all beefing. Y'all got to run this spot together. Y'all costing us money. We gonna whack both of y'all. You know what I'm saying? We might. You know what I'm saying? So, so it's like, you know what I'm saying? And murder keeps things in order. So, but I'm not agreeing with murder. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, it was the point that, there are consequences. Everybody has to have consequences to their actions, and it was the organization that they had, and the fact they started to start corporations.
Yes.
And it was just like, that's what I was infatuated with, and what resonated with me was the organization of the mob.
Me seeing that, because my father introduced us to Godfather, from his job. Working in the trucking industry, a lot of former gangsters, mobsters, they would tell him these stories. And these stories, he would come back and tell me and my brother some of the things you're going to have to do. He wasn't really bragging about it, but he was letting us know these life situations. When you go out here in these streets, I'm going to prepare you and let you know about these lessons, so you won't have to go out there. Sure. Hey, you may have to kill somebody's family. While you doing that, some kids may have to get shot up or whatever. And as a kid, you looking at this like, damn, doing that, I would have to do that. And it changes your mindset. I say that to say this: when you're stone cold at this street shit, Italian mobsters are, stone cold street guys. These things, man, unbelievable things you're going to have to do, and you don't want to do it, but it's either them or you, and a lot of these dudes make these decisions like that.
Yeah.
Let's say, what do you think the mindset is of a stone cold killer like that,
Man, I couldn't even tell you, man, because to be honest with you, because even the guys that I know of, and the old heads that I know, that, you know what I'm saying, that's high rank, man, and they are who they are, man. These guys still, let me tell it, they got a heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the truth, because I know they love me. I know they gonna give me the necessary game. I know they gonna, when you gotta have a certain amount of control, and self-control, because you might be a stone cold, you might put your work in and do what you got to do, but you're not just doing that to everybody. Yeah. You ain't doing that to your people over here, your family that you eating with every morning. You know what I'm saying? You ain't doing that with your brothers. You feel me? You got some type of sense in your mind. You know what I'm saying? To where you're not just so addicted to the action and the thrill to the point where you just doing it to everybody. So, I mean, that's all I could tell you. I really couldn't tell you about
mindset.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I asked you that because, we're sitting here, we having this. Sure. You had the best of both worlds.
For sure.
Midwest and out in the Cali.
Shout out to Cleveland. Cleveland. For sure.
You experience different people, So, being out there, I think you bump into a lot of people. So
sure. No, and that's what I'm telling you to answer your question is anybody that I know, you know what I'm saying? I don't know nobody that did nothing.
They they didn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know that. You know what I'm saying? But what I do know is people that I know that know me,
Yeah.
I know I love y'all. You feel me? And,
Yeah.
they love me.
Yeah.
And that's all I could tell you about all
Yeah.
of that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And they respect my boundaries, and I respect theirs. You know what I'm saying? I give them space to do them, and they give me space to be me. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
the beauty of it, man.
Yeah.
Where you can, you could just relax. Maybe they did some things, maybe they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But when they come around and you come around, it's all love.
It's all love. That's all that matter.
That should be daily in this hood.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We get caught up into the money. We get caught up into the hood fame. But
but that's different too. I realize a lot of times, people are getting into it and beefing over money and females often. But then when you do throw the color aspect in it, right?
Yeah.
Like colors, you know what I'm saying, and hood and where you from and all of that, it gets different because sometimes it ends up being for sport. Not for sport, excuse me, but it's not about the women or the money. It could be for a whole nother reason. It's other stuff, so it's like you know what I'm saying. So that's why I stay out of it. And I'm gonna leave it at that because it ain't even my business to speak on. But I'm just saying, it's so much that go on in this big world that we in that if it's not who you is,
stay out of it.
Stay out of it.
That's very, very wise. Game. For the youngsters to remember and know. Let's go back to the music.
For sure.
What's the most difficult part you are facing coming up in the hip hop game?
For sure, man. I think the thing is finances. Finances, and that's a real statement for you because it costs a lot of money to make all this stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? And for me not selling drugs, and you know what I'm saying, me not being a pimp. You know what I'm saying? It's avenues. I don't do no street activity. You feel me? So everything I do is legitimate. So it makes my role a little bit difficult, and also not selling out. You know what I'm saying? I don't plan on it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what makes it for me. Like I might not be the next biggest thing on earth, but hopefully I can sign the next biggest thing on earth because he might be willing to go put on a dress if that's what he want to do. I'm not gonna ask him to, but if I sign you and you say, bro, I want to go put on a dress, I might be like, well, you know what I'm saying? I want you to stay solid and stay true to yourself because it is solid business only. And I'm going to do good business with you and I'm going to break bread with you and I'm going to keep on my end of the bargain as a brand. But if you want to go do you and that's who you want to be, let me listen to your music. Let me see how I feel about your tunes. You feel me? And let me see how I feel. And then because I want to give people space to be them. Like I always want space to be me, but I didn't always have that freedom. And I think, so to answer your question, that is also a thing. I didn't have the freedom to be who I wanted to be, which is the person that you're looking at, you talking to right now. Everybody that's controlling all of this, they might not want a guy like me that want to be solid, that don't want to talk about doing all of this extracurricular stuff.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it because, okay, Flow Rider, one of the poppinest artists, party music. He makes so much damn money. If it's really all about the money, why isn't there another Flow Rider artist?
Well, we got some people that like, we got some other people like him.
Well, we got let's say we got Drake, we got J. Cole, we got give me one more. Give me somebody else.
Drake, J. Cole. Well, you got the Kendrick in there.
Yeah, you got Kendrick.
Talking about them people.
Yeah, well, they're the currency we have. But that's just a small.
For sure.
That's a small group compared to we can name Kodak Black, such and such. Boom, 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 boom. But that small group, they're getting so much money from speaking positive shit.
For sure.
Why isn't everybody flowing that direction? You
know what? And that would be a question that we would have to ask, maybe not J. Cole or Kendrick, but we might have to ask maybe J Rock Nation. You know what
Leo
I'm saying?
Cohen and all.
We might have to ask Top Dog. No, and I like everything like TDE. I appreciated that. And Kendrick, everything he gave to the culture is giving to the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And Cole, all those great artists. You know, I definitely mess with him, and even the Jay-Z's. You know,
yes.
And I say even because I mean, like he came in as a drug dealer. You
yes.
know what I'm saying, and then entrepreneur, and they didn't come in like that. So that's why I say even to try and separate him from them.
That's true. That's true street recovery right there.
Exactly. You
know,
that's the definition of it for sure.
I just wonder why. I always wonder with that. So much money these guys are making. Why isn't, the up-and-coming artists going their direction, getting in that lane? JID, Currency, as I said.
But stuff be like, man, it be trends sometimes too. So sometimes somebody will make the same music every day of their life, and then it only hit for 5 years. For a 5-year span, they pop, and they got 5 solid years of this.
Yes.
And then by the next 5 years, it's some whole other trend that somebody else been they've been perfecting that craft or that sound and this topic of discussion. But some people, as long as you stay true, once again, I think somebody just gave J. Cole the artist of the year or something. I don't know, all over again. But
well deserving.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm saying that because I'm saying he's somebody that I feel like, has always been true to himself. Just like Jay-Z has always been true to himself. You know what I'm saying? Or you got and that's like once going back to being grounded also, it's just, being true to yourself. And I'm not judging nobody on who they are, but as long as you being true and that's who, and you can live and die with your decisions and that's and whatever you doing, you know what I'm saying? Be true to that and stand firm on that. And then that's between you and God, at the end of the day.
We can go on and on with this hip hop shit, sure. And we gonna talk afterwards, But let's speak on this entrepreneurship, because I don't think we talk enough about this. We can talk the street shit all we want, but when I see youngsters like yourself pushing for this entrepreneurship, we gotta speak on it. We gotta encourage and empower. I don't have much, but let's have a conversation. What was the first entrepreneurial vision that you seen?
My temp agency, man. I got a temporary staffing agency, man. Yeah. And I think that was the first thing I wanted to start because as I got older, I was still bouncing around between Cleveland and LA. Yeah. Once again, because that's just who I was. Yeah. That's what I was accustomed to. I can't stay away from either one for too long. So I realized I always had to keep a job. Like I said, I wasn't selling dope. We weren't gonna find no pounds in my suitcase. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So when I got to where I was going, I had to get a job, and it was a temp agency that I kept utilizing. Sometimes I'll find a different one, and I was always able to get some work every time I got to town to hustle up me some money to get my studio time or to pay for these things or whatever, pay rent, whatever I'm at. So I think that it made me say I want to do that for another young man. It's another young man out there that might be as unstable as I am at this point in time, and he don't want to go and resort to going back to going to the streets or whatever the case, and he want to go get him some money. I want to have a temporary agency where when he can come in here and he can go to work, and I can find him a job. We can get him a job and get him something to do.
How old were you when that vision came to you?
I started to feel like that when I was about 21 years old. I was about 21, and then that's why I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start one of my own. And I just hadn't got around to it, but I kept it in my back pocket. And that was the first thing I really, really wanted to do, genuinely. And I started, and I have it, and I'm running it right now. You know what I'm saying? And we keeping it going. And then the SBO actually was secondary because I started to, with the music, I started to realize, dang, I can't, people not gonna give me an opportunity to always be myself. Yes. They're gonna want me to do what they want me to do. If I go sign it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to do what you want me to do, bro. Like,
you have your own freedom.
Yeah. So, and I think that, I think That's why sometimes you don't see people getting into certain places. Some people, it's only so much room in the game. It's enough room for everybody, but people have certain opportunities. Some people, they knock on that record label door every day.
Yeah.
Some people don't have the hunger to drive. Some people want to do something, or they may talk a good game, but they never start it. They never do it. They never start their own label. They don't record enough songs. They don't do 100 songs a day. They don't go and have to move to New York and go knock on somebody's door, or go to LA and go holler at Universal or whatever the case. Or they don't do that. You know what I'm saying? So I think that you also have to have the hunger and the will and the drive and the strength to make these things come true as well, because you can't blame it on the higher ups all the time because they ain't give you no opportunity. You got to go make your opportunity and take your opportunity and do it the way you want to do it. And that's where even the label thing came in, because I was like, you know what? And I had an awakening, and I was like, you know what? This is how I got to do it. My uncle actually brought it to my attention too. He's like, yeah. My uncle confirmed it for me.
When you have that support behind you, when you're older, your older people in your family or friends or whatever, and they, how does that feel, man? When they have that faith and
man, it's beautiful. A
lot of people don't experience it. That's why I'm asking.
No, for sure. I appreciate the question, man. Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it, but it's hard because my uncles is tough. Mm-hmm. My uncles ain't no punks. You know what I'm saying? My uncle, you know what I'm saying? I come from a pretty solid, tough family. So, man, my uncle would tell me, we had these conversations, and he always like, do you? But my uncles they was the ones that'd be like, man, they ask me that I have to catch my uncle fade. That's what I'm trying to tell you. My uncle be like, look, man, it's tough because they believe in you so much that they only give you so much freedom to mess up. Yeah. Right? So I mean, don't get me wrong, they ain't never put their hands on me like that. But I'm saying my uncle would be like, man, why you ain't doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you been supposed to be doing this. And he impressed me about it.
He keep your ass solid, and he keep you trying to keep you on your square.
Yeah, like I posted something on Instagram one time. My uncle called me like, man, because they call him sometime in LA or Pasadena. Yeah. They might call one of my uncles or something like that. You know, say our family or one of my homies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? One of my close homies, they'd be like, man, you gotta tell Rio to take this down, because that's what I'm trying to tell you. I can't. Some people can do certain things, or some people don't care about what they real ones think. Yeah. But I care about what the people think.
Yeah. You know you're supposed to. Yeah.
So because that's I'm gonna be me for sure. Yeah. But I know that I make mistakes, so you can't be you to the point where you're not. I'm me. This is who I am. But you ain't. But you ignorant. Don't be ignorant. Listen and take the advice. Yeah. And then observe, you know what I'm saying, and peep it, the whole bigger picture. You know what I'm saying, and then be who you are from the growth of your mistakes.
A lot of people, they take offense. Even our older, they take offense to these type of things when somebody's coming at them. Hey, maybe you might want to take that down, and it caused a lot of problems. Mm-hmm. This is the world we living in. This social media thing, and it's causing a lot of problems. How is it helping you?
It's social media?
Yes. In your entrepreneurial.
For sure. Yeah. You know what? I make more money off of face value than I ever have made off the internet. That's just for me. Some people making millions of dollars off the internet, but I've made more money. I've sold more merchandise. I've had real life experiences with people, and than anybody. And it's funny because, like I said, you might see somebody with all these followers on social media and all that, and salute to them. And I do, like, once again, I'm not. Yep. That's one thing you always know about me is I'm not going to know how to do anything. Do you for sure? Because it's a lot of money on the internet.
A lot.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep, a lot.
But, yeah, for sure. But I got a lot of stuff off face value because I be there. I'm in LA. I'm in Cleveland. I'm at some of these. Like I said, I got a musical family, so I'm at these events. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at these people and I'm talking to them in their face and in their eyes. So the internet really ain't been that beneficial for me. Except for the fact, let me say that people can't listen to my stuff. Yeah. No matter how many views or how many streams I'm getting, people can't listen to my stuff. But I gain more followers off of doing a show, and you know what I'm saying, Los Angeles at the Globe Theater in a night than I have off of reposting my stuff.
That's the dope part about you. You have the best of both worlds. You got Cleveland, you got out in Cali. And I'm pretty sure you cover a lot of ground out there. You can go, those people out there. Mm-hmm. How does it feel to be in the position that you in. You have a entertainment business company, whatever.
For sure, you got it.
And you have a staffing service. How do it feel to be in that position, man? As a young man, because a lot of people ain't in that position.
It's comfortable. I'm comfortable here. You know, I'm comfortable because I've been working so hard. You know, I've been working so hard, so it's not like can't nobody take it from me. You know what I'm saying? Something that I built on my own. You can't say that you know what I'm saying? You can't try and discredit me. You know, you can. I'm gonna give credit where it's due. I know you gonna always hear me talking about the people that was around that helped me out to get here, but I'm just comfortable, man, and I'm humble. It's real humbling, you know what I'm saying, more than anything, because when you become a boss and you start to you hire people, you know what I'm saying? You start to hire people, you give people jobs, they sending you their resume, you trying to figure out how much they want to get paid per hour. And it's just like, it's humbling. I don't feel like, I'm the boss. Nah, man, I feel like, okay, well, how can I help you? You feel me?
You help, then that's the key. You helping people get on. A lot of us, we're not doing our part as helping somebody better themselves, or put food on the table. That experience right there. My last interview that I did, young lady, went through so much, and she's continuing to help. She has a grieving organization from people that've been through all this street shit and whatever, and she's giving more, helping others, and she shut down her social media just to take a break because she's giving more. How much of this, we're going to kick it over to just basic grown-up shit.
For sure.
How much of this world where all of this stress and everything's on your shoulder, you just got to take a break and get the hell away from everything else? How much of this weighs on you?
A ton. It weighed a ton for sure. I learned how to be within myself, and self discovery is very important, because then you know your triggers. You know when it's time to press eject. You know what I'm saying? You know when it's time to press reset. And once you understand yourself and know yourself, and then you start to look at your financial situation, you start to look at the people around you and your relationships, and you start to analyze these things. For me, I will check out of social media in a heartbeat. And that's why I don't, if you're going to be a fan of mine on the music side, or you're going to be a friend of mine, you got to understand that I'm not always going to be on social media. Yeah. But YouTube will probably always be there because you go look at it. But as far as the social medias, the Instagrams and the Twitters, I will delete those in a heartbeat, and I don't care. My uncle can't call me and tell me to reactivate that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's my me time. That means that it's time for me to check out. It's time for me to get centered. It's time for me to make sure I'm staying. My integrity is intact. I'm not doing nothing goofy on the internet to try and get attention because I'm trying to get followers. No, it's
the reason why I asked that, because it all boils down to your mental health. A lot of us these days are experiencing mental health problems. A lot of us have escaped, for sure, these mental health situations and haven't had these problems. What is it that keeps you going and keeps you from having these breakdowns, as a lot of people have? You
know what? I actually saw a therapist. I started seeing a therapist about 2 years ago. It was the first time I actually saw a therapist. Her name is Victoria. Shout out to Victoria Durant, man. She helped me out tremendously. And my talks with her was just beautiful. And then you know what? I living in LA, it was hard to get your own place. So once I actually got my own place in Los Angeles and I was able to afford it, you know what I'm saying? Even though $2,700 a month, but I was able to afford my own place in California. It gave me peace. That was my solitude. I don't really like everybody knowing where I live at. Yeah. And that's not to say that people are going to try and pull up on me, because I doubt it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's your privacy and your peace.
So I light my candles. I have my wine. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's a hard liquor night, I put a little bit of and with a little ice cube, and I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? And or I'm not doing no drinking, and I'm sitting there and I'm praying. I think my relationship with God is more important than anything. And therapy is one thing for sure, but my spirituality, it all go hand in hand. You got to think there's a doctor, there's a therapist. There's somebody for everything, because your physical, your mental, and your spiritual all have to be aligned and
Together,
all have to be
yes.
together. So you got to
Yes.
get that on track. Once you got to do all of those things. You got to have everything aligned. You know what I'm saying? My spirituality is definitely important. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we're big on mental health and therapy on this podcast.
For sure.
We always speak on it.
For sure.
The therapist that because a lot of us males, not just black males, white, Hispanic, we don't go and see therapists. What was it that made you so comfortable to finally just break down and go and see the therapist? What was that thing that?
Man, just trauma, man, and just always wanting to be a better person. And I think that it just, stuff just be in the back of my mind. And wherever the seed was planted from, it be there. And then I just realized that I have to be on my own, you know, and my independency was like, I can't keep making the same mistakes. I cannot keep having these same things happen, because I'm gonna end up in the same situation, you know? So once I started to understand that, and then I didn't want to be influenced by anybody else's opinion. And the therapist mostly is just there to listen and ask the right questions.
You know, that's the part a lot of us feel, I don't want to go and talk to, you know, somebody else that I don't know or whatever. But after the process, it goes to the point where you feel good about going after you start, you know, over and over. I haven't been to a therapist myself, but everyone that I speak with about it, you know, I kind of see that glow in you when you.
But understand this though, it's hard. See, the more you go, and when you really go to the therapist, like I really go, and I've really been, you understand that it's a difficult task, because the therapist is gonna challenge you to talk about your deepest, darkest feelings and emotions and the things that you have to get through and the things that have happened to you. You know what I'm saying? She's gonna challenge you to understand yourself on a whole nother level than you never knew that you were gonna have to understand yourself to get to the level you're going to. So once you understand yourself in that, understand yourself the way, now you can fix things. Now you can be a better person. But it's not easy. Just like working out. You gotta, if you want to get 250 and bench press 250, you gotta go through them levels. At each level, you're gonna wake up the next day and be like, it's hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy when you wake up the next day, your body hurt. You know what I'm saying? So when you're going through that therapy, it's the same thing, man. Once you start to, and it's guys, you got to analyze your relationships. You got to analyze things. You got to forgive people. You got to forgive yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand it's therapy.
A lot of work.
It's a lot of work, man.
Okay.
Don't think therapy is easy. If you really want to do it and you really want to be a better person, man, it ain't going to happen overnight. You got to put the work in.
The hardest part is going. That first initial decision to go, I would say.
Yeah.
But being there, you have to be a special, challenging person to go and share these things with someone you don't know. For someone to break that down and bring that out of you, I would say that's hard. You know.
Sure.
Admitting these things, but
yeah, it was cool. It was hard, but it was cool though. It's just still a beautiful experience.
Yeah,
I don't want to make it sound like it's bad. It's not a bad.
No, never a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing, but it's just like it's worth.
You're getting closure with some things in life that I would say
people had trauma. People have PTSD. You know, and that's the thing about it. People have PTSD and they don't even know they got PTSD. People like you know what I'm saying. Like people have. People have mental health disorders and don't even know that they have mental health disorders, and then sometimes they resort to drugs and alcohol because they're trying to fight what's going on in their head. And now you an addict, but you already had a disease before you ever developed that one.
Why is it so hard for us to go?
I think as black people, I heard it too. Why I got to go talk to somebody to tell me about me? Like, what you mean, man? like you got, and when you start to, and that's why music is therapeutic too. When you talking, when you let it stuff out, and you start to talk about stuff, then it starts to click to you. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, you didn't even know you felt that way because you was harvesting those feelings. You was keeping it inside because you didn't want to express yourself. You ain't nobody else to know how you was feeling. So you never even had the conversation with yourself. and you never had the conversation with God because you ain't developing a relationship with God. God watching you, but you ain't got your eyes on God. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the hardest parts. You know, our people, we have these horrific traumas, and over again, we don't get the help. The help in the hood has just arrived. What you would say the last 10 years, 5-10 years with therapy, people really going. But for 40, 50 years before that, we've been witnessing these things and no help. You know, we always look at it as a white thing. Yeah. We kind of fucked up when we had those kind of thoughts, that you need to talk to somebody, is a white thing. But we getting it right,
Yeah.
But my brother, let us know what else you got going on, man.
Man, I laid it all on the table for you. I always got something emotional. If you look at SBO merch on Instagram, that page don't get deleted. You know what I'm saying? I never deactivate that one, SBO merch. And RioFrmTheLand, like I said, RioFrmTheLand is my stage name. And I gave y'all the origin of it, you know what I'm saying? Because when I'm in LA, I need people to know where I'm from. I'm from Cleveland. You might see me shake the hand of this dude over here or that dude. Yeah. But I'm from Cleveland. And so that's that. So you can follow me on RioFrmTheLand on Instagram as well. That's where you get the music. SBO merch is where you would get the merchandise. And that's pretty much it. I got the temp agency, but right now we definitely gonna focus on the music moving forward. I got some real estate stuff going on too. Really. You want to talk to me about real estate? We can talk about that too. But
well, you got so much going on with those three right there. You pull up and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, my brother, I appreciate you coming out, man.
Man, it was all love, man.
My man.
For having me, man.
Man, look.
Crenshaw.
We gonna do something, man. Yeah. We got to, so.
For sure.
Street Recovery. It's my man, RioFrmTheLand.
Yes, sir.
Peace, y'all. Oh, man. Wasn't bad, huh?